Hello, my name is H.A. Pruitt and I'm the author of the Anathalian series, and in this video I'm going to do an editing tip because I am also an editor and I want to share editing tips. So today's editing tip is going to be about feedback, and I'm going to talk about 4 different topics with feedback. So first, you do need to ask for feedback. Like, asking other people to read your story before it's published is hard because it's scary and they may not like it and they may say things that you don't want to hear, but it's very important to ask for feedback because feedback helps you make your story better. So when asking for feedback, do ask a variety of people. Ask other authors. Ask people who couldn't write a sentence to save their life. Ask readers. Ask people who don't read very much. Ask your family. Ask your friends. Ask strangers. Ask writing groups online. Ask just a variety of people. And you want to ask a variety of people so you get a variety of perspectives. Because if you just ask authors tend to think like, these are the author rules and this is what you have to do. And they forget sometimes about just enjoying the story. But if you ask people who are not authors, they may think about just enjoying the story and not think about like aspects of a story you need. And so they may say, well, I like this or I don't like this. But when you ask why, they may not be able to tell you. So just ask a variety of people. And ask at different stages of writing. Ask, they call them like alpha readers, the first people you ask whenever you like first draft your story, the first time you write it down before you go back and look at it at all. Ask people then, you probably just want to stick with your family and friends, people who are going to be nice but point out things that need to be different. But then as you go, you may want to spread out to strangers. But ask at different stages. You know, that first stage, after you feel like you've got it to a good place, then you send it to beta readers. After you send it to beta readers, then maybe you want to send it to an author group or a critique team or something like that. A critique partner along the way of the drafting stages. And your editor is like your last line of defense. So ask for feedback at different stages of your writing. And then ask for feedback about different aspects. So when you send it to like your friends and family and just random people who don't really write, you may say, you know, just tell me overall what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And if you can say why, tell me why. And then authors, you may want to be a bit more specific, you know, tell me about the character development. Was it good? Did the character arc come through, or things like that, you know, things authors know that other people don't care about. And of course with your editor, if you want specific things, let your editor know, like grammar, punctuation, all that stuff. Yeah, so that's the first thing. You do need to ask for feedback, and ask for it in a variety of ways at different stages and about different aspects of your writing. So the second part of feedback, once you have your feedback, consider what's one opinion versus what are valuable critiques. So a lot of people like to sound smart and build themselves up and just say things to say things more than be helpful. And that would be a personal opinion. And so think about, if only one person said it throughout all of your asking for feedback, if only one person said it, think about it. Think about what they said. Is there any truth behind it? Is there any truth to it? But if nobody else said it and you ask a bunch of people, then maybe you don't need to listen to that feedback. Maybe you do, and maybe just one person just happened to notice it. I know books get to me, the editor, at the very end of all the stages, and I notice things that the authors are like, I never saw that, but you're right. So, you know, some people could be right, but if it's just one person's opinion, or if just one person says it, it may just be one person's opinion. And also when you're asking for feedback, think about when you give your book to a variety of readers, what readers are you going to target? And are those people, you want to make sure that the feedback from those kinds of people, like if you write a children's book and you let children read it, you're going to want to listen to the children more than the adults in a way. And I hope you see what I mean by that example. That it's important what your readers think of your book more than what people who aren't your target audience think about it. So think about that too, once you have your feedback. Then also, if multiple people said it, take it seriously. So like, if at every stage somebody's telling you, different people are telling you, your characters just aren't realistic. Your characters just aren't realistic. Don't be like, you know, they are. You don't ignore the people. Believe the people. If multiple people are saying the same thing, believe them, take it to heart, take it seriously, make whatever necessary changes you need to. But if you get your feedback and people are divided on something, like some people say the characters are great, they're so realistic, and other people say, they're not very realistic, then consider who said that. If only your friends are saying, it's great and it's wonderful and all this, and strangers are saying you need to fix these things, your friends and family are probably going to be nicer to you and just kind of like gloss over and say, oh yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it, than people who don't know you, who don't really, for lack of a better way to say it, who don't really care how you feel when they say things. So consider who said it when you have a division. And if it's kind of all over the place, maybe you should just go back to your judgment or write it down for your editor to look at and see what they say, because they're professionally doing this. So if people are divided, that makes it a little tricky, but still you can do some things to know if you should take that feedback or just put it to the side. And then consider how the feedback was given. Like I said at the beginning of the section, some people just like to say things and sound like they know what they're talking about. Just consider, is it framed like an insult? Is it like, this book is really bad? Is it said something like that? Or is it said, I found this aspect of the book to not be as strong as it could be, and maybe you could do this to make it better? That kind of critique, those are the people who you want to be listening to, who are trying to be helpful and give you ways to improve your writing. If someone says, well, it's bad, and this was bad, and that was bad. If they just say an insult and don't give anything helpful with it, maybe set that aside, or maybe ask someone who is being helpful what they thought about that aspect and ask them how you could improve that aspect. So that is about once you have your feedback and how to take it all into consideration, because not everybody is going to give you the right thing. And sometimes you're going to get a different thing from every single person. You're going to be like, what do I do? Everybody said something different. But you're the author of your story. So in the end, you need to make the judgment call, and you can make the judgment call. That is your right as the author of your story. Okay. And then the third thing about feedback is take time. Let the critiques sink in, let them sit for a while. Because initially, when anybody's critiqued, they're going to say, nuh-uh. If someone says your characters aren't realistic, you're going to be like, nuh-uh. But then if you take some time and take some days or maybe weeks or months or however long you have or want, and just think about it, maybe it'll set in and you'll be like, maybe I could improve that a little in this way. Maybe they were right. Maybe I do need to tweak some things. Just let it sit, because initially we all kind of bristle at critiques. But if you let it sit for a while and you start thinking about it, you start seeing how you could improve in that area, that's helpful. And it just, giving yourself time gives you a new perspective. I know when I was I am working on a children's book with someone, and the initial read through, I was like, oh, this is great. This is wonderful. We don't need to fix a whole lot. That's good. And then we waited a couple months, and after beta readers, and we made those changes. And then when I came back to it, I was like, I see a lot of things that I could improve on. And so I improved on some things. And just the time, when you first encounter something, you may just get wrapped up in the story and be like, this is great. But then a little while later, you say, oh, okay, this is good, but it can be better. And that's really good to give yourself that time to see it in a new way. And then fourth topic about feedback, I want to say, is choose an editor after you get through all the other rounds of alpha readers, critique partners, critique groups, beta readers, everything else. After you get through every other kind of feedback and get to your editor, because they're your last line of defense before you publish that book and put it out in the world. Choose an editor who supports your goals. Choose an editor who is not opposed to your beliefs or message. Everybody's got their own beliefs. Everybody wants to promote their own message. And you want to make sure you have an editor who is going to support that message. If you, I don't know, horrible example. If you want to write a book about killing guinea pigs and you choose me as your editor, I am going to go through the book, and every time you talk about how it's good to kill guinea pigs, I'm going to mark that out and say, no, it's not. I'm going to be totally opposed. I'm going to mark things out of your book and say, this is bad, this is wrong, da 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 da. And you don't want to do that. That's a dumb example. But you get what I mean. If you have a goal, if you have a message, and you have someone who doesn't believe in that, they're going to go through and say, you need to change this, and you need to not talk about this, and you need to do this. And you're going to be like, but that's what I want to say. You need to find someone who lines up with that. And you can ask an editor, you don't have to, wait and see what their beliefs are. You can ask them straight up, this is the message in my book. Are you going to be in line with that? Are you okay with that? Do you want to support me in that? And that's okay to do, because you're going to pay this person a lot of money to edit your book, and they need to line up with what you're trying to say. Okay, and then also when you're choosing an editor, make sure you have an editor who doesn't want to make your story a different story. I always try when I'm editing very hard to never, like in my reader head, when you're reading a book, you're like, oh, I hope it turns out like this, or oh, it should go like this. And when it doesn't, you're like, this could have been better, When I'm an editor, I don't do that. I take the story as it is, and I look at what the story is and how it can be made better as it is, not changing it, not making it something different, making it itself, but better, improving it. And that's what you want your editor to do. You don't want your editor to start saying, well, you need to, change this whole idea. Instead of having a love triangle, you need to not have a love triangle and just have the two people, because, love triangles are bad. So just take out this whole character and this whole plot aspect and this whole half of the book, just change it all and make it a totally different story. You don't want that. You want someone who says, your love triangle could be improved on, and maybe these are the different ways you could improve your love triangle. And if you want to go that love triangle route, let's do it, and let's do it right, and let's do it good. You want someone who supports what you're trying to do and makes it better, and gives you that kind of feedback, who just supports you. So that's my editing tip about feedback. I hope that was very helpful. If you need an editor, I am an editor, and you can ask me if I can line up with what you want. I have another video, I'll put the link down below, about like my editing services, more about what I do and what I will accept and will not accept. And yeah, so I'll put that link down below if you want that. And I think that's all. So please like this video, please share it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and thank you very much for watching. Bye! If you want to know more about Anna Thalian or H.A. Pruitt, please follow me on Instagram at H.A. Pruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, H.A. Pruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, H.A. Pruitt Anna Thalian. You can find me on the Facebook page, H.A. Pruitt Anna Thalian. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name H.A. Pruitt and the book Anna Thalian. Or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anna Thalian is. The website is hapruitt.com.